Good evening, Wilmington, Delaware. It's time to start the action. Let's welcome the fighters for the opening bout to the ring. Introducing first from San Cristobal in the Dominican Republic, please welcome Dagoberto Agüero.
degan libosi bor millatim qo'lini ko'ksiga doim bosgan do'stligim mani elim g'ururim jonim fido bo'lsin agar ularni kamida qardam.
Hey Fat Joe, this is the Spanish version. Sigo subiendo y no voy a parar. No voy a parar. No voy a parar. No voy a parar. Sigo subiendo y no voy a parar. Si son dos, dime si son tres. ¿Cuántos de tu gente están odiándome? Mira todas las prendas están brillándome. Y en mi casa tengo carro para escoger. Dime si son dos, dime si son tres. ¿Cuántos de tu gente están odiándome? Mira todas las prendas están brillándome. Y en mi casa tengo carro para escoger. Sigo siendo el capo de capos. Soy el
And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome his opponent, hailing from Tashkent, Uzbekistan, Olimjan Nazarov.
mani elim millatim oyog'inidagi go'zal qoq degan libosi bor millatim qo'lini ko'ksiga doim bosgan do'stligim mani elim g'ururim jonim fido bo'lsin agar ularni kamida qardam. Salom alaykum oqibatda oxirdagidan odam xotirjam o'zbegim
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Chase Center on the riverfront in Wilmington, Delaware. You're here for Skill versus Will. This next bout, ladies and gentlemen, is scheduled for 6 rounds in the super bantamweight division. Bouts this evening are brought to you by David Feldman Promotions in association with King's Promotions and Nelson's Promotions, and presented by the casino at Delaware Park. Our bouts this evening are sanctioned by the Delaware Department of Licensing with the Virginia Athletic Advisory Board. The executive director is David L. Holland. The program administrator is Tracy Fagan. Your doctor at ringside is Joseph Raziano, MD, and the timer is Dave Holland. The judges in this bout are Brian Costello, Mark DiTilio, and Dorothea Perry, and controlling the action at the sound of the bell, the third man in the ring is Vic Diwaisaki. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's meet the fighters. Introducing first, boxing out of the red corner, he weighed in at 118.6 pounds. His impressive undefeated professional record, 10-0, with 8 victories coming by way of knockout, following a world championship decorated amateur career with more than 300 amateur victories. Wearing the red, white, and blue of the Dominican Republic, representing San Cristobal DR and King's Promotions, please welcome Dagoberto Aguero. His opponent across the ring fights out of the blue corner. He weighed in at 119.4 pounds. He owns a professional record of 14-4, 8 victories coming by way of knockout. Dressed in black this evening, hailing from Tashkent, Uzbekistan, please welcome Olimjan Nazarov.
Boxers, you've been given your instructions in the dressing room. I expect a good, clean bout. Obey my commands at all times. Protect yourself at all times. Touch gloves, come out of the bell.
So we are getting set for Dagoberto Aguero taking on Olimjan Nazarov. And the 23-year-old Aguero in the blue trunks, Mark, comes in with a very impressive 10-0 mark out of the Dominican Republic.
Perfect yet untested. 10-0, 8 knockouts, like you said. Last 4 have been first-round knockouts. 23-year-old. He looks like a good athlete. I've heard some good things about him. He signed with King's Promotions, Marshall Kaufman, and they signed him because they've heard a lot of good things about him. This will tell you a lot about him. Nazarov, I saw a couple weeks ago in Atlantic City take on the number 4 bantamweight in the world, Stefan Young, and he gave Stefan a good go at it. He's the tough guy. He likes the pressure. And he likes to fight.
And you can see the taller Aguero right off the bat trying to establish that jab early on.
Well, he better put his hands up because Nazarov can hit a little bit.
And again, this slated for 4 rounds, super bantamweights. Nazarov on the black trunks, Aguero on the blue trunks.
You see some of these fighters get built-up records, and you see the records on some of the guys that Aguero's fought: 1-21, 0-3, 0-9, 2-11. Hey, the best guys fought 4-6.
His last 2 wins actually came against debuting boxers. Yeah. So you're right. That's an excellent point you bring up.
And Nazarov, he's battle-tested. Went 8 with Stefan Young, went 6 with the undefeated James Gordon Smith back in November. 3rd straight fight here in the United States, and. He really doesn't have too many noticeable names on his ledger, but the 2 losses were impressive. I was ringside for the Stefan Young fight. Stefan Young is going to be in line to fight the new WBA champion, hopefully at some point at 118 pounds.
You can say midway through, midway through round number 1, again slated for 6 rounds. Super bantamweights. Aguero, again, getting backed up a little bit. But you saw early on, went to that jab. You mentioned should really keep those hands up, especially when he goes from the jab to always align him back up. And he's, early on a little sloppy.
Yeah, well, he's been inactive so far in this first round. And when I saw Nazarov fought against Stefan Young, and here he goes. He's kind of like a little car. It takes him a couple minutes to get wound up, but once he gets on the road, he throws punches and bunches.
Yeah, and he had a good combination, to the body, and Aguero countered with a couple headshots of his own under a minute to go in this opening round, slated for 6 super bantamweights.
Nazarov, he's going to sneak up on somebody and beat somebody, whether it's tonight or not. Like I said, I was impressed. We see so many fighters as I travel throughout the world watching fights, and good right hand.
Good right hand.
Yeah, from Aguero, best punch of the round so far. He's a tough, hard-nosed guy, and he's going to outwork. One night he's going to be in with some prospect, and he's going to outwork.
And you mentioned Aguero too in the top. 10-0, he's got some knockout power, just 23 years of age. You can see that lean frame, so you would venture to guess he'll fill out a little more.
Yes, he's 23, looks about 16, 17.
But early on in round number 1, Nazarov obviously trying to press the action, try to maybe steal a round.
Yeah, he's got to do a better job cutting off the ring. He's letting Aguero circle him.
Good body shots as we close in on one in the books.
That's the kind of fight Nazarov wants. He wants to fight. He wants Rubber to be thrown, because that's what he doesn't look like. He doesn't have the greatest feet in the world. So he wants to get in close and make this a phone booth fight, and kind of like a little brawl.
Of course, Nazarov comes in, the 31-year-old, going against the younger Aguero, just 23 years of age. But you mentioned pretty solid record of 14-4 with 8 knockouts. And after winning 4 straight, he's dropped 2 straight. He would love nothing but to pull off an upset this evening. I mean, kind of a feeling out process certainly in round number 1.
Yeah, it started to pick up at the end of the round. Let's see if Nazarov now sees what Aguero likes to do. Now he's got to make the adjustments, because Nazarov is, it's one of those what you see is what you get. He wants to, there's not going to be too much pretty boxing from him. He's going to jab his way in, and then once he gets in, he's going to just try to unload the body, headshots.
And it's almost a risk to reward factor against a taller opponent. Can he sneak in a little bit? Can he work the body? Can he chop down the tree a little bit? But with that, there comes a risk.
Aguero trying to land the right there. Kind of like flicking with the jab.
Aguero in the blue trunks, Nazarov on the black trunks. Early stages, round number 2, again slated for 6 super bantamweights.
And there's a shot to the top of the head. And a little rough. Referee Vicky Wysocki want to lay down the law here.
Early on, good job by Vic taking control of the action.
But there, you get a 31-year-old veteran,
Who knows how to play the game?
He knows how to play. I like to call them veteran tactics. Using some veteran tactics here, maybe try to unravel the 23-year-old. This is a big deal for Aguero, because he's been fighting on small shows in the Dominican Republic. Obviously, there's some eyeballs on this with our main event with Roy Jones, and it's a time for him to impress and now take it to the next level, going from unknown prospect to to maybe more of a known commodity.
Sometimes when you're going against an older opponent, when you're going opponent of Nazarov's stature, not only does he, more of a compact fighter, comes forward, but sometimes those wild punches, you don't know where they're coming from. So again, as you mentioned, this is a good test for the 23-year-old.
Absolutely. Maybe a little bit of a real big step up for him. This is a real big step for him, in my opinion. You got to hand it to Marshall Kaufman and Nelson Lopez. They want to see what they got in this kid. Or maybe they think that they really have the goods in them and, kind of fast track them a little bit.
I think, too, Dagoberto, if he can reestablish the jab as well, because he's got the length, he's got the reach, he's got the height as well. So, again, you start peppering a little bit with that jab, keep him at bay a little bit, frustrate him, he goes up, stop. Good body shot as well.
Just going over the records, 8-60 are Aguero's opponents, the combined record.
Under a minute to go in this second round, slated for 6. Nazarov trying to get downstairs, go to the body. You can see Aguero kind of baiting him a little bit.
Nice little right hand in there, Rich. Aguero's have been pretty good. He's handled this tough vet pretty good so far.
I thought you brought up a really good point, too. Late in round number 1, we saw the extracurricular activities as we're closing in on 2 in the book, slated for 6. You know, the fact that Dagoberto, we saw him got a little feisty there, maybe a little frustrated, but sometimes that happens. And again, you alluded to the good matchmaking as we are 2 in the books, but still, I still kind of think a round or so feeling out process, you're kind of waiting for Dagoberto to kind of take over the fight.
Yeah, and at the end of the round, he landed a couple nice little right hands there. So let's see if he, presses on now and works behind it.
So as we take a look at some of the action in round number 2.
There's the right hands we're talking about. He's sticking the jab out there as a rangefinder. You see Nazarov doing what he likes to do, and that's get in close. And see, he's kind of flicking out with the jab and another right hand, and that was the shot at the end of the round.
So a little action from round number 2 as we get set for round number 3, again slated for 6. 31-year-old Alimjan Nazarov in the black trunks against a 23-year-old native of Dominican Republic, Dagoberto Aguero. Comes in 10-0 with 8 knockouts in the blue trunks.
There's a little flicking left hook. He's flicking a lot with the left, whether it's the jab or the left hook. See him really step into one. Trying to counter there as Nazarov came in.
And Nazarov trying to get downstairs a little bit, trying to work the body.
You say in boxing a lot, geography and location, very important. Dagoberto will love the fight just the way it is.
Good left.
If he's landing shots like that, there's no way Nazarov can win this fight.
A little more focused in these early stages around number 3. Letting his hands go a lot more, too, with a good left and a straight right. Good uppercut, connecting again from the 23-year-old. Midway through, round number 3. Just kind of throwing out that lazy jab. And you can see Dagoberto early on has that little flair in the ring, little showmanship as well.
And we'll see as time in each fight gets on, we'll probably tighten that up. And Nazarov landed a good left hook to the head and came back downstairs.
See that left after that jab, though, Mark. Just comes right back down. It's not like Ken Norton-ish, but it just dangles, it hangs.
And Aguero, you got to give him credit. A couple weeks ago, he fights Stefan Young, who's a smaller southpaw, and now he's taking on a tall orthodox fighter.
Ooh, straight right, got home by Nazarov. Best scoring punch of the night thus far. Found a home for it.
And he was able to get in. Just look at this fight. It's very simple to look at. If you can get inside, you can have success like that.
Oh, 18 pro fights, 8 knockouts, but more importantly, caught the attention of the 23-year-old.
Aguero, it's hitting the body. Trying to hit him some more.
Under 30 to go, round number 3.
That's what Aguero is trying to do. Nazarov shoots him another left there.
Man, we talked to that risk to reward factor, and right there, paid dividends for Nazarov. All right, so 3 in the books. We are midway through this 6th round affair. And also joining us this evening, Cerro Papati, our unofficial scorer this evening, as we get his thoughts. 3 rounds in the books. What do you have, Cierro?
Well, right now I have the fight tied. We're not seeing a lot of punches out there, and it's really a unique matchmaking style. I have to give credit to the matchmaker because we're seeing some contrasting styles, but still filling each other out. I really have a 1 round tied and then 1 round to each boxer. So we'll see. These next 3 will really decide it.
And it's only slated for 6 rounds as we are 3 in the books. I mean, Mark, has anything stood out 3 rounds into you?
Well, I think Dagoberto Aguero, the first 2 rounds I give to him. I think Nazarov may have snuck that one in there based on the couple big shots landed during that round.
Did notice one thing late in round number 3. You saw Nazarov was able, when he got Aguero up against the ropes, not only was able to work the body a little bit, but we saw some sloppy defense from Dagoberto, and Nazarov was able to catch him up top. And like we alluded to, that was one of his best scoring chances, his scoring blows of the bout thus far. Perhaps something to build upon in round number 4. Again, this one's slated for 6, early stages round number 4. John Nazarov in the black trunks, 31-year-old, comes in with a 14-4 mark, 8 knockouts, has dropped 2 straight after winning 4 in a row. Against a 23-year-old Dagoberto Aguero from Dominican Republic. Looking to maintain his perfect record intact at 10-0, looking to push that to 11 wins, 8 knockouts in his young career. As Mark alluded to, though, as a good prospect, as a young prospect, really hasn't been tested. His last 2 wins against debuting fighters, taking on a little more of a grizzled vet.
Good uppercut from distance, Rich. Tell you what, Aguero's doing okay inside. Did a lot better than I thought he would.
Now, I want to go back to something you said in the beginning of the fight, opening stages round number 1. Good left again. And we talked, you mentioned the hands down, the sloppy defense, and once again we saw it. Is it more of showboating, taking the opponent too lightly, trying to have a little more flash in front of the crowd, or is this something fundamentals?
I think it's more or less, he wants to make a statement. He wants to be remembered. I don't think he's, taking the opponent lightly, or you could say he is taking the opponent lightly because he's focusing on other things. So it's probably a combination of everything you just said. He keeps his hands up and he flicks the jab out there and he works behind it. He looks really good.
Now you can see Aguero backing up a little bit, trying to get that straight right going. Again, get that jab off a little bit. That's your best defense, turns into some very good offense. Good uppercut, right down the boulevard up top. Another scoring blow. Working over Nazarov, late in round number 4.
Starting to heat up a little bit, Rich. Looking left. Aguero took that well, took the body punches as well.
Action heating up in this 4th round. Crowd appreciative of that round number 4. A little more action in that round.
Yeah, it's starting to heat up, and you see a little drop of blood dripping from the nose of Nazarov. So we got a little fight on our hands here.
Take a look at Nazarov's corner.
See the left nostril.
So some very good action in round number 4 as we take a look at a good exchange midway through round number 4.
See Nazarov pressing the action, and then boom, he caught him just on the end of that. If he was a little bit more in the wheelhouse, and they always say baseball's the game of inches, boxing's literally the game of inches. If he's a couple inches one way or the other, that shot hits him more on the jaw.
Saw a good left up top too by Nazarov, then went back downstairs to the body. 4 in the books, early stages, round number 5 of this 6-round super bantamweight affair. John Nazarov, 31-year-old, black trunks, 23-year-old Dagoberto Aguero from the Dominican Republic. 10-0, 8 knockouts in the blue trunks. How'd you score that round number 4?
I thought Aguero's worked early. Nazarov's now starting to really try to uncork some shots.
Going for broke in round number 5. Nazarov trying to cut off the ring. Doing the majority of the stalking a minute in round number 5.
That shot hit a lot of gloves. Nazarov tried to dig in there with a left hook.
It's a good test for the 23-year-old. You're getting some rounds in.
Absolutely, he's getting rounds in. He's getting hit. He's been in a fight. And
it's again, good adversity, right?
Should he go on to win this fight, this is going to be one of those fights that accelerates him to the next level. Like I said, this kid, Nazarov, who just ate a counter right, he fought a good fight. He lost to Stefan Young, and Stefan Young's the number 4 bantamweight in the world by the WBA.
You can see Nazarov, though, certainly.
Aguero kid
try to catch Dagoberto sleeping a little bit.
Nazarov is known for broke when he can. See some foot movement from Nazarov. I think he's getting closer to trying to figure Aguero out.
Doesn't have a lot of time on his hands. We're reaching under 30 seconds of this 5th round slated for 6.
And what I mean by that, I know closer to trying, he's now making adjustments, and now he's doing stuff with his feet, little subtle things that are just trying to help him, maybe open up an angle for him to land one of these big shots.
I think also there's that sense of knowing that you're the smaller fighter, diminutive fighter. If you try to take that shot inside, you know you can be a 9th knockout victim and an 11th win for Dagoberto. So again, there's that, I don't want to say rock in the hard place, but certainly something that maybe bears worth watching in the 6th and final round.
Skill versus Will is brought to you by Atlantic Barter. Bill Carter is your business plan. Congo Funeral Homes.
Nice crowd this evening as well inside the Chase Center on the riverfront in gorgeous downtown Wilmington, Delaware.
Yeah, I think
spirited crowd, and we know they're going to get their money's worth this evening as well. You got to love this atmosphere because it's an intimate venue as we take a look at some of the action in round number 5.
Yeah, that's just like you said, trying to be flashy, trying to, that for me really does not do anything. In fact, I think it's more detrimental than anything else.
6th and final one, this super bantamweight affair. John Nazarov taking on Dagoberto Aguero. Certainly a go for broke round for the 31-year-old Nazarov.
Right,
hey, give him credit, he's hung in there.
That I know. I mean,
durable fighter.
Never been stopped. You could just tell he's a hard-nosed looking guy. Compact. I think one of these days he's going to, if he keeps fighting these prospects, these undefeated type guys, he'll sneak up and beat somebody.
Sometimes it's the fighters that you least expect to show up and win a fight. We might see that later on this evening with our main event as well. Which, of course, will be Roy Jones Jr. taking on Bobby Gunn for the vacant WBF Cruiserweight Championship slated for 12, but first things first, sixth and final round between Nazarov and Aguero.
There's Nazarov. He's trying to get 90 seconds to hit the proverbial maybe 4-run home run, as I like to say. Now if he's down 4 rounds to 1, which, you know, that might be the case. Totally unofficial.
What have you seen that has impressed you with Dagoberto?
Well, you can tell he's a good athlete. He has an idea of what he wants to do in there. I wish he would come harder with the jab, because I think it really could be a weapon if he learns how to throw it correctly. Because he's tall and lean, and he's 100, 100, what was he at the weigh-in yesterday? I got Dagoberto Aguero at 118.6 pounds yesterday, so he
good uppercut.
He could be a nice little find for King's Promotions. Sometimes, nice counter right. Sometimes it's these guys, these diamond in the rough, that turn out to be, maybe the 10-0, 8 knockouts down in the Dominican Republic is pretty reflective of who he is.
And a good test to get 6 rounds in against an 18-fight veteran, a durable fighter. All right, so this one will go to the scorecards. John Nazarov, Dagoberto Aguero.
Good fight. I think it served its purpose for everybody. Nazarov did what he basically was brought in to do.
I'm sorry, Aguero was expected, what he was expected to do, but as you alluded to, Nazarov.
So is Nazarov. He was who I thought he was.
Give the young kid some rounds.
To quote Dennis Green, he tough guy, was in his face, tried to get in his face, but a little slower, just missed the punches. That's the difference between guys who get to 10, 11-0, and guys who are now going to be probably 14-5.
Yeah. Let's remember too, going against a younger fighter, not to take anything from the fact that he's 31 years of age, because conditioning not an issue. He took a lot of punches. He threw as best as he could. But there's always that sense of frustration to try to get inside against a taller opponent where, again, you risk taking a shot and being knocked out. But he showed he's very durable. He got rounds as well. So, again, you look at Dagoberto Aguero, 23-year-old Dominican Republic. You mentioned a King's Promotion fine. Did some good things. Certainly going to work on some things, but as we take a look at some of the action throughout the fight, what stood out?
And that's what I liked. He was landing from distance. There was the little extracurricular activities. Don't like that with the hands down. And he got caught again. But I think there was more of him doing what he needed to do from the outside, mixed it up when he needed to, did okay. And it's almost like I talk about football teams or basketball teams. Win all your games at home, and when you go on the road, break even. What he's supposed to do at home basically is fight from the outside. He won all that action, and he did just enough to break even, inside. So I think he won this fight.
Certainly, Aguero, 23-year-old from Dominican Republic, perhaps a name to watch going forward as he's looking to improve to 11-0. And as Mark mentioned, good test for him this evening because his last 2 wins against debuting fighters as we await the official decision on this one. As we take a look at John Nazarov.
Good effort.
All smiles, got his rounds in, feeling pretty good about himself.
Dagoberto Aguero, I'm sure, will remember his American debut being on the undercard of a Roy Jones Jr. fight.
Not a bad spot for a 23-year-old. Not a bad spot for any fighter this evening to have an opportunity to be on this card.
See Nelson Lopez Jr. in the middle. He was involved in a career with Aguero.
Remember, too, our night will cap off with our 12-rounder for the vacant WBF Cruiserweight Championship. the legend Roy Jones Jr. at 48 years of age, looking to turn back the clock against the bare knuckle boxer, the brawler, the 43-year-old Bobby Gunn, 73-0 as a BKB fighter and heavyweight champ in the bare knuckle boxing circuits. So perhaps Roy Jones Jr. can turn back the clock just one more night. I know there's been a ton of talk about if he does lose his fight, will Bobby Gunn put him into retirement? And that's certainly something that we'll talk about throughout tonight's telecast as we await the decision between Nazarov and Aguero. It went the distance. It went 6 rounds. We'll see if the 23-year-old from Dominican Republic notches his 11th win in his career. I think at this point, as we do await the official verdict, I had it 5 rounds to 1. I did give 1 round to Nazarov. I don't know if you feel you err on that side as well.
I thought 5-1 is a good assumption. I don't know what the holdup is with the scoring here. It's been a little while for something.
Sure,
that
because typically if you go 10 we see these 12-round title fights and there's a holdup like this, there's probably going to be an issue with the scoring most times.
You never know in this game.
This is true. What do we know, right? We're just calling it ringside. All right, so let's make this one official. We'll go back inside the ring to our ring announcer, Mark Frado.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 6 hard-hitting rounds from these super bantamweights, we go to the judges' scorecards for the decision. Judge at ringside, Dorothea Perry, saw this one 57-57, a draw. Judge at ringside, Brian Costello, saw this one 58-46. Judge at ringside, Mark DiTilio, saw this one 59-55. Both in favor of your winner by majority decision. From San Cristobal in the Dominican Republic, still undefeated, Dagoberto Aguero.
Well, 57-57, 58-56. I was on the lines of 59-55.
Makes 2 of us.
But Aguero gets the majority decision, and we said it in tongue-in-cheek. What's taken so long? Talk a little bit about the scoring and the outcome on that one.
Well, the bottom line is the right guy got his hand raised. You know, if someone found 3 rounds for Olajem Nazarov. I didn't see it.
No, I agree with you. I mean, Dagoberto was active when he needed to, even though Nazarov tried to apply the pressure. But again, I just, well, as you alluded to, the right fighter won, so the 23-year-old improves to 11-0, and for the game 31-year-old Nazarov, he falls to 14-5.
The next bout of the evening, ladies and gentlemen, is coming up in just a moment. This one's going to be for some hard-hitting ladies. Until we're ready to roll, DJ Lou Styles is on the wheels of steel.
Hold on a second.